Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and welcome to a new series. Working on this guy right there. That is the PL-01 prototype tank. It's a 1/35th scale kit by Tecom. We're going to get started on that today. So if you could just hit that intro and we'll get started right away, okay? All right. Okay guys, well, welcome to a new series working on this guy here. Like I said, it's this guy right there. It's the PL-01. This is a prototype Polish light tank. As you can see, obviously I've already opened up the box, so let's take a look at these sprues and we'll see what's in this kit. Okay, so we'll start off with our the main body of the tank. Comes in two pieces like this. Typical bucket, that's typical model tank stuff. This obviously just clicks in like that and it's going to sit there like this. Pretty much, that's it. Not much, nothing special, right? Okay, there's that. We got a couple little pieces in here, some kind of details that we're going to work on. Hey Uella, is that something they're going to be building in the future? Actually, believe it or not, this is not a futuristic tank. They actually built this thing in 2013. We're talking over 10 years ago. But I guess they introduced it at some kind of military show or something like that. And I guess the project never took off, and so that never really went into production. So, yeah. Anyway, we have two sprues of tank tracks, which is actually pretty small, all considering, and I don't have to put a whole bunch together. This is nice with this kit. So yeah, we have that, those two sprues, and we've got two more sprues with looks like some wheels. We got a bunch of wheels, more wheels, and we've got looks like the suspension arms and all that stuff. Of course, two sprues of those, boom. And we have an upper turret, upper half of the turret all on its own. We have a couple of side skirts. These were loose in the box. I didn't even have to take them off of a sprue at all. Just like that. We have one final sprue, which looks like the bottom half of the turret. We've got our main cannon. This, I'm assuming, is going to be the back of the tank. Gun barrel, machine gun parts, and that's it. And we have a jig. We have a jig here, actually two of them, for assembling the tank tracks and getting them at the right angles to do those. There was one extra sprue, that's some clear pieces right here. I just keep it separate in the bag. And one last little thing, we have decals, and that's it. So it's a pretty basic, even for a tank, it's pretty basic. One thing I will notice, I will point out, I'm going to change the camera so you can see this a little better. Okay, let me change this. Okay, the sprue is actually flat on one side here, and then you flip it over and it's rounded on this side. This side is totally flat, and I've never seen that on any other kit. That is unique. I've never seen that before. It's almost like just this flat. I can't only say I've never seen a sprue that's totally flat on one side. That is really unique. Anyway, let's put our stuff back in the box. Okay, because we're not going to need a lot of this for a while yet. Take a look at our instructions and see what we're doing first. I'm going to guess, since it's a tank build, and the few tanks that I have built in the past, here's our instruction booklet right there. You can see what it's going to look like. That is a futuristic looking tank, that's for sure. Now apparently it's based on the Swedish CV90-120T tank. So Yeah, it's based on a Swedish tank. Poland made their own. But again, it was just a concept, okay? Back in 2013. So, but yeah, it never actually went into production. I guess they decided this tank was basically going to be a stealth tank. So we've got some instructions here. Read before assembly. Caution. This is how you apply decals. There's removing PE. PE. So we're supposed to have some PE. I didn't see any in the box. I did not see any PE parts. Did I miss that? My kit does not have PE parts in it. Unless crash. Let's see here. Unless it's something funny and the PE's got caught in the actual box, but I doubt it. It is possible that PE got stuck in here. Nope. Let's try this side. No. So my kit is missing the PE parts. Which I'm going to say is not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal that my kit does not have these 4 little pieces of PE. I don't have any clue what they were for. They look like maybe some kind of vents or something, but in any case, I don't have them. So, first page, yes, of course. First thing we're doing is suspension and wheels. So, let's grab our lower hull. There, and we need A11 and A10 off of our suspension. So, there's 1 and 2. That's a loud kit, isn't it? It's really loud. So this is our A tree. It's an upside down V. And we want 10 and 11. They have the markings on the flat side. There's 10 and that's 11. Okay. Because those are a little hard for me to see, I am going to change my glasses. There we go. Okay. So, let's get these off the screws. I believe this is the first time I've built a TACOM kit, if memory serves me correctly, which it could very well not. It's possible I'm not remembering, but I think I have never built a TACOM kit, and that could be why I've never seen this type of sprue where it's completely flat on one side. I also need this guy here. This one, 3 spots. There we go. Okay, let's just see how these fit in. So we're going to run all the way along. We start at this end, and this guy's going to go in. And of course, they have it slotted so it sits at a particular angle, just like that. So we can glue in. It's gone all the way through, so I can put glue in on that side. So let's do that. So, some thin in there. Done. Now, how about these guys? It looks like they have little notches here. You got a little notch right there on each one for that little notch to fit in. See on the camera there's a little notch there. Maybe I can't because it doesn't want to. See that little notch right there? Right there. Okay. So you get that slotted in there properly. Doink. There, now we're stuck. That's where she's going, just like that. They do all seem to be a pretty tight fit. Like, who needs glue when it's that tight, right? Just like that. This one in. I'm guessing it's pretty obvious if you put it in the wrong way. Let's try to put the wrong one in here. Yeah, it doesn't even fit in the hole. So that's pretty cool. You know you have it wrong if you can't even put the peg in the hole. Okay, they're all in, and like I said, it's a tight fit. So I can just go down in here in all these little spots and put some glue. I'm just gonna make sure they are all in as far as they're supposed to go. There we go. Okay, let's go get the other ones off the sprues. Well, I guess we need anything here. Oh, because I put it on this side. I put it on this side and I put all these guys on that side. That's okay. Let's get all these other ones off the sprue. Let's put this aside here. Okay, so what I have seen of this kit online, it is a pretty simple, straightforward build. It's not very complicated at all. To be honest, the reason why I bought this is, well, it looks cool. I like, as far as tanks go, I don't really have any preference other than if the tank looks cool, then I'll build it. I'm not like one of those people who's like, oh, you know, the Germans were all evil in World War II, don't build any German tanks, you know. I'm not like that. I'll build a German tank, no problem, if I think it looks cool. There we go. Put glue on all these now. And we're done. Okay, so that's done. We did this side, we did that side. So now we're going to put our jigs on. Why are we putting the jigs on when these all line up? These are jigs. Let's get the rubber bands off of it. It's nice of them to put rubber bands on it, but there. So we've got our piece like this, and our jig is supposed to go like that, and I guess they should all line up. But that, I guess, is the wrong way. But that's how they show it in the diagram. And yeah, they all line up. And that's interesting. The jigs are definitely lefts and rights. It is interesting, however, that, you know, it should go like this. That's the way the tank tracks will go. It fits either way. They line up. Good enough? Okay, so that was that. So now we got to do these. We got to assemble our wheels. So why they're doing this, why they have you line them up, I don't know. That's kind of strange, because all the little tabs in there, they make you so that they don't move. So yeah, anyway, so we're going to make 14 of these, A1 and A2. I'm guessing that's there's 2, that's this row, and then 1, so these guys. Also these, they just got them separate. I'm going to do our road wheels. Road wheels are always fun because you always have to paint the rubber on them. Totally separate. Some people like to use masks. I don't really bother with masks, I just paint them by hand. One thing that is kind of nice about tank stuff is you don't have to be that precise with your painting. It's not the end of the world. One thing I do like to do is make sure my nubs are clean on this part. That. I want it smooth. Now the nature of these, they've got all these little marks. You see all these little lines? All the little lines on the actual tire. Let me get my hand in focus there. There. This little detail that we've got them on all of them. Little nubs, and put those ones on this side. Oh, you go over here. Just making sure my nubs are clean. A lot of these, you know, based on the, let's just look at the side of that tank there in the picture. You're not going to see these tires very much at all, with the big skirting that goes around the whole tank. I would like to have seen, I know Martin and his channel Night Shift on YouTube, he's basically the armor modeler that, well, I've learned all of my techniques from. If you guys actually watch my very first tank build, is the Abrams tank. It's pretty sad compared to now. Okay, so there's no real guide in making sure these things fit properly. Unlike a Tamiya tank where you'd probably put a poly cap in the middle, you don't do that with these. So I'm going to get my other glue out. Let's put the lid on this one so I don't spill it by mistake. I'll get this stuff out. And I'll just put a little bit on the tip there and then doink. And we'll call that done. Okay, so just a little bit on the edge there. Give it a little spin. There we go. There's one. Okay, so now we've got something interesting. We have this one, which is clearly one of these guys, but it's got the same end as this. one guy here, he belongs here. 6. Okay, I'm just going crazy. Ignore that. I really should edit that part out. Because that's really just stupid. I also just realized I've got my thing hanging down here. There. Okay, 2 done. Three. 4. 5. 6. And 7. All right. So, put those aside. We've got 7 more to build. Just going to get these other last few wheels done, these last 14 parts, and yeah, clean them up a little bit, and we're going to get those glued together just like the other ones. Just work one by one. Yep. Just about done. All right. Wheels are all assembled, and now we're supposed to put them on the tank. So it looks like they all go there except for this. They go on all of these. Wow, tight fit. They're definitely never in. There's never any intention on getting them to sit properly, or not sit properly, but to spin. There's never an intention. They had no intention of these ever turning at all. So now I think what I want to do before I continue and put the wheels on is I want to spray some primer in there and on the back of the wheels before I continue on the build, because once I have this assembled, I'm not going to be able to get in. I'm going to miss some areas in there with primer. I'm going to miss in there behind the wheels with the primer, and I want it primered properly. So I want to actually be able to paint in there, because I'll go show you guys kind of the idea of the paint scheme that I am thinking of doing with this tank. With it being a modern tank, I want to give it a modern paint job. Obviously this paint job here is really boring, okay? That's just like a dull dark gray, or what Tamiya would call it gunship gray, right? That is boring as heck to put on your shelf. So I want to do something a little creative. Even the box art, okay? Even on the side of the box, we have a couple of options for camouflage. There's that one there. If you look on the overhead, there's that one there, and then there's that one there, right? So yeah, I'm thinking modern tank needs modern paint job, and not just gray like that. So I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna try and maybe just do something like this one here. I think that's what I'm gonna try and do. I realize that's gonna take a lot of masking to get in around all of that, but that's kind of what I'm looking at, and I think that's what I'm gonna go for. I've even got some colors picked out. Some NATO black for the black. It's a combination of desert tan and light sand kind of thing, and then a mixture of some dark green that I made a while back. Definitely not this light color, but the darker color on the lid. I'm going to do that. So that's going to be my three primary colors. NATO black, a desert sand, which is kind of like this color. I've mixed the two to come up, putting it on the lid. So there's my green and my brown, and then of course NATO black, those guys there. Those are the colors I'm going to go for on this guy. Okay, but that's not for a while now. I want to put down some primer. So let me get my table set up here, just so I can get some primer and get our wheels kind of, I want to get the back of the wheels primed also while I'm at it. So I'm going to use my Mr. Surfacer 1500 black and just hit this on that back side under where the wheels go. Let's see how I want to hold this. How do I want to hold this? I want to use this. That's good. Okay. So like I said, I want to just get in there with the black like that. Okay. Before I get the wheels on there. Okay. The other side. Okay, so my hull, lower hull, is primed. Okay, she's all black. I'll let that sit for a minute. I'm going to take my wheels. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about the outside of the wheels right now. I'm more concerned about the back side. Okay, so I'm just going to lay them out on my table here. Technically, I should. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to do this. There we go. Now I've got a nice surface for these all to stick to. Doink. Doink. Now when I spray them with the paint, they won't blow away on me. Just like that. Okay. And because I'm going to be holding that, I'm going to put my glove on so that I don't spray my hand with primer. Oh, I got 3 more I got to put on here. Doink. 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 Okay. And now, oops, I dropped a load wheel. Road wheel. Not load wheel. One fell off. Ah! And he went rolling all the way over there somewhere. That's okay, I don't need him right now anyway. It just means I'll have to look for him later. Okay. So, this is pretty much dry to the touch now. Now it's black, gray, black, yeah. Put that there. He did roll kind of far away. Alright, there he is. So we'll let these sit for a minute. Let's flip the page and see what's next. Okay? Let's see what's on the other page. This is now dry to the touch. No problem. It's got a little bit of overspray dust on it, but no big deal. Easily wiped off. It is just primer, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Done. Okay. Let me check something. Okay. Flip this over and see what's next. Yay, tracks. And our other wheels. Let's change the camera here. Okay. So we've got these wheels. We've got to make these ones. They're A3 and A4. So that is 3 and 4. That's these two. These are very neatly, these are delicately done. They've put the right on the cog like that. So having small nippers helps. Okay, there's that one. And that one. And obviously we got to put these two together also. Might as well get that off of there. Okay. So let's make sure these are cleaned up where the nubs were, where they were attached. If you don't clean up the nubs on these, sorry, I'm going off camera again. If you don't clean up the nubs, then when you go to put the tracks on, if you happen to have these turned in a particular fashion where the tracks need to actually go over the cog, well then suddenly the track isn't going to fit. It's not going to want to go over the cog. So you want to make sure you've cleaned up these teeth on your cog really nice. There we go. And again we have a little piece right there that's going to help us align it exactly where it needs to be. Into that little spot right there. Let's do a little dry fit here, just like that. The sculpt on this, we got a little bit of flashing right there. And the ejector pin marks on the back side of the cog. One of those things where, yeah, it's not a big deal because you're never going to see it, especially if you decide to make this a bit of a dirty tank and not fresh off the assembly line. I'm just cleaning up the flashing on these little ejector pin marks just to make sure it looks normal. There's a little bit of flashing. If you really wanted, you could clean up these holes, right, a little bit. Get rid of that flashing out of there. But I think from the front side you're not going to see it, so just one of those things. So put some glue on this. And once she's lined up, there we go. She's in her home, and there's here. This looks like a drive cog to me. We have these two also going to go together. Just need to clean up that nub. That one. And then these two go together. Similar fashion. Get them aligned and they go together. So there you go, they're together. Okay, I'm going to say this is an idler wheel. You get the drive cog, and then you get the idler wheel at the other end. And this is where your jig comes in handy. Okay, you look at our setup here. So this one is this one, right? Your idler wheel is going to go on there. Tight fit. Very tight fit. It's a little too tight for my taste. I'm actually going to sand this down a little bit. So just use some sandpaper here and just kind of rub that out a little bit, because why that's such a tight fit, I don't know. It shouldn't. I wouldn't think it's supposed to be that tight. It's a little better. Because I don't think you're supposed to glue everything onto this. Like, that would be ridiculous. I think this is only supposed to be used as a jig to get your tracks together, and that makes sense because all your wheels are on there and everything like that. So yeah, this should not be super tight, but it should be holding in place. Yeah, this one's a little looser. I can actually turn this one a little bit, right? But they even have a little notch right here. Right there, there's a little notch. Get that in the right light. You can see what my knife is pointing at right there. And that goes in between two of your little teeth on the cog. So there it goes, and now it doesn't turn. So that's a neat little thing. So this can turn a little bit. It's pretty tight though. I would like it a little looser. So I'm just going to I don't want my wheel super snug on it, which is why I'm concerned about this. There. Better. A little less friction now. Still not the way I want to go. Am I being finicky? Yes, I am. I admit that. That's much nicer. I feel a lot more freedom in that wheel moving now. That's better. I won't bore you with me doing this twice, so you don't have to worry. You don't have to watch me do both sides. Okay. So let's take a look at our tracks. Okay, I'll do this one side. I'll do the other track off camera, so you don't have to suffer through this track setup twice. Because we're going to do the tracks, we're going to lie them all up around the edge of the track, but we're going to leave the bottom section off. Okay, so let's look at our tracks. Let's pull one out here. Okay, so we're going to start with, I guess we'll go with B1, 2, and 3 and get those in the center. So here's 1, 2, and 3. They did do a good job at making sure these tracks are held onto the sprue nicely. There's that one. There's that one. That one. Okay. So one is the shortest one, and it's supposed to go in this direction, and it's supposed to go with this particular in between going right there on that line, like this. So there's a little notch right there. If I tip this up, you can see that notch right there. That notch is right there, and that lines up right in between these last two. Okay, like this. Then B2, which is our next one in line, is going to go there, and the last notch on him, the last two, are going to go into this notch, like this. This one goes there, which means they line up, or they're supposed to line up, like this. Now I've got a nub there that needs to be cleaned up. So we got, the nubs are going to be a restricting factor on your fitment. So you got to make sure your nubs are clean, otherwise you're going to get a gap in between your two that is not going to look natural. Okay? So clean up your nubs, guys. There we go. Okay, so what you can do is put a little glue on there. Get these kind of put together a little bit. Do it like that. Okay, leave that for a second. Let the glue start to do its work. But don't leave it for too long, because they need to have a curve on them. I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. Get him on there. Get him in his place. Okay. Now that they're all together, well, this one's kind of, these two are together. Put this in a spot so we get that angle on there that they need to be. Same with this guy. So they got that little bit of an angle. What's kind of funny is this is gradual, but yet this doesn't want to go into that form. Interesting little scenario, and that's because I've got it backwards. Funny how now that I've got it correct, it sits proper. Isn't that funny? So, word to the wise, pay attention, because lefts and rights matter on this kit. The whole time I had this jig here for this one, and I was going off of this picture as far as where the tracks go. So don't do that. Pay attention. Don't be like me. Okay, that matches up pretty good there. The challenge on this is going to be the little bits that go around the cogs, because those are separate, right? So I can start with B6. Let's take some of them off. I think these are all number 6. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's go 7 off of here. We'll do one side. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now again, you gotta clean your nubs. Otherwise, they won't fit right. Let's get this guy out of there. Okay, so basically working your way around, this is kind of glued but also kind of not, and I've noticed I've got a not clean nub right there. So let's make sure I still have this in the right way. Part of me wants to tape this down onto the jig just so it stays, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. Technically, what would make this easier to do is if you let the glue set for a while before you continue on, right? I think that would probably be the smarter way to go. But I want to get this done. So, a little glue on that one. Next one. Just turn it around the right way. How much you want to fit? There. Getting these guys to decide exactly where they're going to fit is the kind of a challenge here. You basically want to pretend that there's a pin going through the link. Which in real life there would be. And so that's where the deciding factor is in how it's going to go around the wheel. But to me, a thin set does give you that little bit of time to adjust if you need to before it hardens. Doesn't give you a heck of a lot of time, but it is just, to me, it's not like CA glue where once it's set, it's done and you're not touching it. Starting to get around our wheel here. Right in about now, I want to make sure, I want to pull that off and let that sit. I want to let that sit for a minute. Okay. I think actually I kind of have to let that sit for a little while and let that glue kind of cure a little bit before I do anything more, right? I've got to make sure my angles are still good and that it's going to stay. Okay. So it's a little bit of a slow process. This, of course, is much faster than any other tank build. I mean, barring a rubber track, this is a breeze compared to anything else. You look at a main kit where you're assembling all individual links. Or if you go so far as to buy like an actual metal track. Yeah, this is pretty simple, and the fact they give you the jig to work with, that helps out a lot, right? Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it for now. I want to let that cure. I might do a few links on the other side on the cog, get those put on, and we'll continue with this next time. I'll actually do the other side off camera so that you don't suffer through another set of this. But yeah, so this is where I'm going to say thank you, and thank you for watching, and thanks for the comment there, Uala, a little bit earlier. Yeah, you guys should check out my Instagram. There's going to be links down below in the description box to my Instagram, my Twitter or X account. You can check out still pictures on my Instagram of all past builds I've done. I haven't quite had a chance to upload the ones of my Foose FD100 truck yet, so just be patient. I'll get to those, I promise. The other thing I want to let you guys know about is my upcoming series of building a Porsche with my fiance. I'm going to do a little bit of a collaboration at her place, and going to get that built. We're going to show you guys you don't have to be a professional modeler to have a decent looking kit sitting on your shelf. Okay, she's never built one before. She's going to be her first one. She wants to build a Porsche, so we're going to do Porsche 911 GT3s. All right. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you again for watching. Thanks for coming out and all the support. 80% of you guys have not subscribed yet. Please subscribe. Hit that button. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. So anyway, thanks, guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.